An early morning Alabama football report, and not exactly for good reasons. Multiple reports from a wide variety of pretty much everybody state that Caleb Downs is entering the college football transfer portal, a potentially massive and big and bad loss for the Alabama Crimson Tide. We'll go in depth on that, some replacements, and the hiring of Maurice Linguist as the co-defensive coordinator. Because when news happens, we have you guys covered. Hit that sub button right now, youtube.com/@RollTideTV for a lot more Alabama football YouTube videos. We had spent a couple different videos going over the rumors of Downs entering the transfer portal. I'd felt better when he attended the team meeting on Monday, maybe he'll stick around after all. Well, it seems to not be the case anymore. Assuming he does leave, which I think he's going to, and I have a concerning thought it's going to end up being at Georgia, who almost got him the first time around. It is a massive blow for the Alabama defense. Downs was, I think, the best freshman in all of football last season, and the defense is not going to be the same without him. And if you needed a reminder that things are just going to be different now at Alabama without Nick Saban, and they will be worse. They can still be good, but they will be worse without the greatest head coach to ever do it. The departure of Downs here is a significant one. A true freshman, we would assume future first-round pick, 107 tackles, 3 TFLs, almost had the other INT, just barely drifted out of bounds before making the catch against Michigan and J.J. McCarthy. 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions. The future was oh so bright for Downs. But I think it is very clear a lot of these guys went to Alabama to play for Nick Saban. And who can blame them? If you're a defensive back, again, I would have done it. I get all these DBs going in the portal because you wanted to do it for Saban. Now Saban's not there. Now this depth chart, it has been a roller coaster, man. Going into the Rose Bowl and before Jackson came in, I was like, oh boy, this is dicey. I don't know about all this. And shoot, now I wonder, is Damani going to consider not going? There's a lot of weird stuff there. Because the other spot was Michigan. Well, Michigan's losing a head coach too. It's I don't know. Your safety room is now incredibly dicey. It's Devonta Smith, Tony Mitchell. Are you going to start Jalen Mbakwe as a true freshman? Everyone else on that roster, that depth chart, it's like all freshmen. That's a little bit scary to have to do. So we'll look at the portal and more on Downs here. But how sad are you that Caleb Downs is in the transfer portal? It's the pinned comment on today's video. So if the ad comes here on YouTube, take advantage of it. It's 1 on the low end, up to 10 on the high end. I suppose it's not technically a lock. He ends up leaving, but he didn't jump in immediately and then listen. He listened and then jumped in. So assuming he does, it is a massive loss. He is already a star football player. Pete Thamel put out the Bama star receiver Isaiah Bond in the portal. I'm like, star is kind of pushing it. This kid's a star. And I will say, it is totally fine to be upset, go through your stages of grief because you're losing a great player. I also totally understand Caleb Downs trying to do what's best for him. I do not like the culture of we're going to be mean on message boards to kids. I don't like that. I'm not a fan of it. Don't tweet at recruits either. I don't like it. So it is fine to be disappointed. Don't be mean to the guy. He's trying to do what's best for him. And the reality is that Caleb Downs' future is more important to him than Alabama's future, as it should be. But make no mistake, this sucks for Alabama. So you can be disappointed. That's fine. You can be a little mad if you want to. Just don't be mean to anybody online about it. This is different. This is the change you're going to be facing moving forward. You are no longer Alabama and Nick Saban. You're just Alabama now. And that's still a really good football team. Don't get me wrong. I think you're starting to have success with Kalen DeBoer. But it's going to be different. And you're not going to land all these top defensive backs the way you used to with Saban there. So this sucks. I know. It is not a good thing for Alabama. But remember, these are kids trying to set themselves up for their future success, especially when you're going to be a first-round pick. I get it. Now, today's show is made possible by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. It's just you against the numbers. You're not battling thousands of players. There's no pros. There's no sharks. There's no sharps. More than, less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections, and watch those winnings roll in. No more college football, but there is college basketball available on Prize Picks. The flex play always works. Shout out producer Chris for nailing it last night against Missouri. We won't have much conversation about basketball or Nate Oates pushing a kid, which was also very bad. Everyone but the Mark Sears one hit. Aaron Estrada got the more than points easy. Rylan Griffin got there in points alone. Didn't even need the rebounds and assists. That one was easy. Sears did not have his best performance, and Bama still won pretty easily. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Link will be in the comments section and the description of today's show. Let's talk some downs replacements then. I believe in providing solutions and not just ranting and raving and being sad about stuff. First name we'll mention here is, I think I'm pronouncing this right, Mishael Powell, who entered the portal when Kalen DeBoer left. He started for the Huskies at safety last season and was fourth on the team in snaps played. And reportedly, by the way, took a visit to Miami on Tuesday. So, of the available safeties in the portal, and I'm basing this predominantly on the On3 rankings, Powell stands out as a guy that can certainly make some sense. Not nearly the same level of tackle impact, which, again, indicates probably where he's lined up more than anything on defense in terms of deep versus some more box stuff or, split safeties, whatever. Also had 3 interceptions and two pass breakups. So if you want a as close as you can find to a plug-and-play option at safety, acknowledging the Huskies' defense wasn't that good last season, Powell does stand out to me. Some other top defensive backs in the portal. Now, literally as we sit here filming this, On3 just reported that Jabbar Muhammad is going to take a visit to Alabama at some point this week, which would be a significant get for the Tide, because they now need depth at corner. Trey Amos is in the portal. All these guys have entered there. And you noticed on that list, I put corners on there. What if you put Malachi Moore back to safety? What if you got some stability and veteran play there at the safety spot? And the star position isn't going to be the same as it was without Nick Saban. It's still going to be kind of that nickel, a lot of teams that nickel safety overhang guy, which I think is very valuable even to the NFL. Maybe you put Malachi Moore back at safety, which is probably going to be his NFL spot anyway, by the way. And then you bring in a Jabbar Muhammad and maybe some more depth at either spot and give yourself not all freshmen having to play. So other names to monitor, again, these are pretty much based on the On3 players, top players in the portal still, not including, of course, Caleb Downs. Asa Turner was kind of a bit banged up, but he knows Kalen DeBoer. Caleb Ransaw had a decent season for Troy. Mumu Bin Wahad at UConn. Isaiah Johnson. The last 3 names are not great. Again, it is now January 17th, and your portal options are a little bit thin. Maybe some Arizona players go in the portal. I don't know. Because there's the trickle-down effect continues right now. So name a player you'd like to see Alabama go after in the transfer portal. Drop that name or names in the comments section. Now, the news that came across the wire later last night, they like doing late-night news. I'm not a fan of that from Bama, but it is how it goes, Alabama is hiring Maurice Linguist to be the co-defensive coordinator alongside Kane Womack. I would fully expect that Womack is still the defensive play caller, but you do the co-DC for title and salary and etc. Linguist is the second sitting head coach to take a defensive job under Kalen DeBoer. He also has SEC experience, Mississippi State, A&M as well. I will say, I know we're disappointed about losing Downs, and things are always going to be different here. Regardless of where you coach, getting 2 G5 head coaches to come be your assistant, that is a very impressive get by Kalen DeBoer. And you know what? I'll even give Alabama credit. They're not trying to make this team Kalen DeBoer and Nick Saban assistants. They are allowing DeBoer to run his program. And I do think that's the way you have to do it, because if you're still kind of clinging to the past, you never really get over it. It's like if you break up with your girlfriend and you're still talking to her as friends, are you really going to get over her? No, not really. Linguist's background here, is mostly as a strong recruiter. Had done a lot of successful things at various stops. I think the Dallas region, by the way, has been an area of focus for him in the past. More on this hire to come, but do you like the hire of Mo Linguist? He's often called Mo, by the way. Y for yes, N for no. Sound off for me in the comments section. The recent notable jobs here, who also coached as at the Buffalo Bulls DB coach for a little bit. Iowa State DB's coach, Mississippi State safeties coach, Minnesota DB's coach, A&M cornerback coach for 2 years, Dallas Cowboys defensive backs coach for 2 years, then the Buffalo head coach. I will say, a little bit of a job jumper, as a lot of these assistants are. I don't know how long he'd truly be at Alabama, but how long do most of your assistants stay anyway? It's a couple of years, right? As the Buffalo head coach, not great in year one. He was also hired late in the process, so it was kind of tricky. 4-8, 7-6 in 2022, got the bowl win, and then a poor 3-9 season. Was just under 500 in the MAC. I will say there are very few jobs in the Mid-American Conference that's easy to win at. You're not getting a lot of great recruits. You got to do it all through coaching and assistance and scouting with eye for development there. And when your previous regime was not good, it takes some time. But head coaching is out the window now. It's a very good hire for Alabama, although, still lost Downs, and that's probably the bigger news, of course, of the past 24 hours.